Now let's talk about values. And let's talk about the importance of valuing yourself. It's important to know what is important to us. Know what we want and know what kind of life that we want to live. Is a life of peace, prosperity, joy? Is it a stable life? Is it an adventurous life? What do we want and what is important to us? These are all big areas of conversation here. These are all big topics. And it's super important now at this time to put your values first and to own your value and to sort of deliver that value, especially because of all the Taurus energy happening. Jupiter is in Taurus. The North Node's in Taurus. Uranus is there too. So with not all, but so many, Mercury's there too. With all these planets in Taurus, now is the time to, look at what we value, move in that direction. Now it could also be where we might put that on the back burner because, and possibly the reason is getting wrapped up in others' needs and others' wants and devaluing yourself just to make peace, just to compromise, just to please other people, just to go along to get along, to draw the olive branch. Well, I don't know if that's going to work, because where that can turn into a shadow side is what needs to be released starting in July of this year. The South Node's going to move into Libra. And we are releasing this over-dependent, compromising nature, this part of us that just says no to ourselves, denies ourselves, lies to ourselves when we say something that isn't true to us, when we do something, and then we feel all burned up inside. And it's from the ego mind, and then, the soul and the intuition is not aligned with what you're doing. It's not aligned with where you're going and what you said. But it's rather the opposite. And why can't we express our truth? What kinds of situations hinder us expressing our truth? Expressing our authenticity? Situations that may be very draining. Situations where we feel powerless and it's not worth fighting, and that I can't assert my own needs and get what I want. This can turn into having these conversations and these interactions and not choosing to argue and fight for what you want, but choosing to also probably put issues under the rug. And in a situation where you devalue yourself and you're just simply going off the ego mind, that's not going to work. That really is not going to work. It has to feel true within. It really has to get, true within, and we can fall to the ego. We can fall to passive aggression when we're in a situation when we don't feel like we can't assert ourselves the way that we want to. We can fall into passive aggression. And that's a downside of Libra energy in just general life. If you feel that fire burning inside of you, and if you feel like you are not being true to yourself, it's time to be true to yourself and understand that it's healthy to put yourself first. Putting yourself first does not mean abusing your power. It doesn't mean whatever you're going to do is going to come at the cost of your relationships. Whatever feels natural to say and do, whatever resonates to say and do, whatever has this sort of warm frequency, or right frequency. It's just, to go in this direction. It's right. It's also about being true and actually coming to terms with what you value, accepting that, and living that life out. Being honest. Sometimes we can be like, oh, I'm going to do this, and this is not actually true for me. Well, what is true for you, it is time to really live that life, and we can take a lot of advantage of that now when Rahu, or the North Node, is in the very beginning of Taurus, and when it moves back into Aries, it's really time to start living that life that we want, and being authentic, being true to ourselves. That's it for now.